it is now sort of it's a golden opportunity, isn't it? Really, with Auckland and with Melbourne, as you've said. And then if you throw in, you throw in your Cairns in the middle of the year. There's a lot of points on offer before June when most athletes are looking to head overseas.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's been interesting trying to adapt to it as well, because I was talking about it yesterday. It's the season's getting longer and longer, and you're going to have to balance yourself more carefully and have mid-season breaks more often, because up until a few years ago, it wasn't until the 1st of May where you had to be fit. And the difference between 20th of January and 1st of May is a hell of a long time. It's a lot of time for the body to recover and adapt. And the Europeans are in snow and they're getting fat, and the body's recovering well, and then they build into the season where summer to summer sometimes can shoot you in the foot, because we come back after the US season, you have November, by December you're starting to get back into the swing of things, especially for January races. But in saying that, we can get a jump start on the rest of the world with all these major marquee events early in the season, because you think by May, you've listed the races. You've got Auckland P1500, Geelong 500, Melbourne P4000, Cairns P2000, plus the 70.3s, other 70.3s in the mix there. And you can get a lot of points up the sleeve before you even step on a plane to head over and start what we call as our major part of the season.
I'm going to ask you a question, and you may not like it, but I want to talk about the bike in Kona last year. What happened? It's one of those things I'm not going to say here nor there. 2012's of abs. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm definitely was happy to see New Year's Eve and the 1st of January roll around. It was a long and tedious year. In short, it was mechanical issues that we've been dealing with since probably end of March, probably end of April, start of May, when we got to the US. To be honest with you, it took us probably about 4 months and a lot of mechanics and that to find out exactly what the problems were. As I said, in short, in the end it was a compatibility problem between different parts of the bike. And that's where it ended up. That's the simplest terms I can keep it in. Yeah. Were you bitter at all? When it's a mechanical failure, regardless of brands, regardless of companies involved, are you bitter when it's the equipment that lets you down?
I think so. You can't sit here and say no. Honestly, you put in that much time and effort, and the hype behind building for Kona, and the months of training, and it's nearly a 12-month process. And to have something small go on, I think I'd rather go out and run the first mile in 4:50 and blow up and have to walk home, because I know at the end of the day that's my problem, and I was the one that stuffed up, and it all comes back on my shoulders. But it's when it's a mechanical that it is extremely frustrating. And I've got my issues, but you look at other guys throughout the race too. Sebastian Kinlay finished 4th. Could he have finished 3rd, 2nd, 1? Who knows? His flat tyre, you watched him try and change it. It was reminiscent of Norman Stadler years ago. But as he's trying to do that, the time's ticking, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. Definitely frustrating, but have to move on.
And you have moved on. Brighter and bigger and brighter things here with a company that you know well. You've signed with Giant for the season 2013. Tell us about how that came about.
After Kona, I've always stayed in close contact with the guys at Giant. They're up the road here in Melbourne. They were my first major sponsor. They're the ones that reached out to me when I was 23 years of age, and Darren, Marty, Joe, all those crew out there have always been fantastic support for myself over the years, regardless of what bike brand I've ridden. And it's Saturday morning rides where I've always caught up with them, at Racer for coffee at the end of the day. And after Kona this year, it was, a lot of people, I guess, were asking what happened, and I'm not a big one for excuses, so I kept it pretty quiet and to myself. And they called me up and wanted to see where things were at, and I expressed that I was always happy with their bikes. I always rode fast on their bikes, and as a product, a brand, and it's more of the complete package. I got on well with the guys that ran the company. I loved the bikes, and I always performed well on the bike. So really, at the end of the day, there was no decision to be made. Once I got off the plane back here, I went out for lunch with them, and
sat around, chewed the fat for a little bit, and by the end of the lunch, we'd all decided we're all happy and wanted to get, back behind the guys, and hopefully we'll swing it back around to the way things were.
It must give you a good sense of security, knowing that you've got that sort of base of support behind you, and that you can call on the guys, so close to home.
Yeah, I think so. It's they're, as I said, as a company, it's you're looking for something that's a great package all round. It's they've got a bike that's tested phenomenal in a wind tunnel. It's renowned as a fast bike. They've got a pro tour team, but like as you mentioned, that can be all great, but if something goes wrong and it can't be fixed, then where you're at. But these guys have got all that, plus I know that I can give them a call and they can either say, hey, by this afternoon swing out the office and we'll have the problem solved for you, or whether it's that, or they call you on the other side of the world just to say, what's going on, how's things been. It's one of those relationships that I've valued over the 10 years of my career. And I think that's where you look at sponsorships are more than sponsorships. These guys have turned into friends over the past 10 years of my racing.
Well, look, thank you so much for talking with us, and we look forward to seeing you race in Auckland and having a chat to you before Auckland about the stacked field we're going to see there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I must say it's good to be back in 2013.
Beautiful.